Kildare have beaten Cork by 2-12 to 14 here at Semple Stadium. Obviously, this game was moved to Thurles because of Cork's training session earlier in the year that shouldn't have gone ahead. But I think they'll be far less concerned about that than the manner of their collapse in this game. They didn't have Mark Collins, they didn't have Luke Connolly, fair enough, so they were lacking options up front. But the way they faded out in terms of their scoring after Brian Hurley left the fray around the 40th minute. Now, Kildare had already made quite a move in terms of being behind early on in the game. It was 5 points to 3 at one stage around the water break, just after the water break, 5 points to 3. But Kildare, you thought they were going to be in a bit of a tough spot because Daniel Flynn, who had led the charge for them early on and had got a couple of scores for himself, he went off on the 31st minute, and he had been their best player with the 2 points, like I said. But it was a good response from there. Maybe the Kildare players realised we don't have to get every ball to him, and started to stand up a little bit more. Ultimately scored 4 of the next 5 points. Neil Flynn came in and he hit a beauty of a free from probably the guts of 50 yards out, but just before the break to put them 7 points to 6 ahead. And Paul Cribben had a point that I think most people in the press box thought had gone over at the Killiney end just before, on the 32nd minute, but that wasn't given. The first half, Cork looked really good. They were winning an awful lot of turnovers in their defence, as in forcing turnovers off the Clare attackers. Looked pretty good, but a lot of silly shooting. There was 3 shots that dropped short, which was quite costly. It's hard to find too many positives from that second half for Cork, because from 6 points to 7 behind, and I wasn't really sure how they were behind. They went as far as 2-12 to 10 points in arrears, so that's 8 points, an 8-point deficit going into the game late on. Cathal O'Mahony got a couple of frees as well to kind of bring it back late on, but at that stage the game was over. You knew pretty much that Kildare had it won. It was just a case of seeing it out, and it's the manner of it from Cork that will disappoint them and Ronan McCarthy. There just wasn't any incision there. The decision making was poor in the second half. As I said, some wild shooting. Then there was the fracas at the end, which resulted in substitute Brian Hartnett getting sent off. Now, I didn't exactly see what happened, but he was trotting away. There was a free to Cork probably around the 45, and he was whoever was marking him at the time ended up on the deck. Hartnett said go, and a couple of the Kildare defenders pushed him around. Mark Donnellan, goalkeeper, came down and upended him. A couple of Cork men came in. I think it was Kieran Sheehan, and I'll just double check who the other one was. It was Ty Corker came in and upended him. Yellow cards all around for the 3 of those men, and a red card for Hartnett, so he won't be available the next day. So it was 5 points in a row at the end for Cork that brought the deficit back to just 2-12 to 14 points, but very disappointing for them. Derek Irwin was brilliant for Kildare. He was involved in most of what was good. They could have had another goal. I think it was Jimmy Hyland that hit the post. He was trying to fist the ball over the bar, came off the post, and then I believe it was Paul Cribben who pulled on it, and it hit off Hyland and skittled out for a 45. But then the goals came. Kevin Flynn beautifully slotted one home. I think there was a lovely ball into Derek Irwin. He just did a quick little hand pass to set the wing back through, and he sent the keeper and Taoiseach's son, Micheál Martin, the wrong way into the net. And that was a bit of the game breaker. That was around the 50th minute. Later on in the half, then Jimmy Hyland with a nice goal. Again, I think it was a case of Rory Dean had the ball around the opposition 45. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was David Hyland who cut a crossfield ball. It was a bit of an errant ball out. He knocked the ball upfield. Derek Irwin won a foot race. Brilliant pace out of him. Long rangey player. Good decision making out of him as always. And hand passed the ball over the top for Jimmy Hyland, who went around the goalkeeper and knocked it into the back of the net. So when you consider last year where Kildare were coming from a pretty good league, but to concede 5 goals to Meath in the Leinster semi-final, things weren't looking great for them. But to win like this and to do it with their best player going off, that's definitely an encouraging sign for Jack O'Connor. And in a division that also has Laois and Clare, he'll be feeling pretty confident. And Clare or Cork will want to get back on the horse very quickly after that.